Have we experienced most of the bull run's gains already? Is what's left over just the little breadcrumbs, and has all that generational life-changing wealth already been made for the lucky ones who were buying many months ago or years ago? Well, I'm going to answer this today. I've received a lot of questions recently asking me, Kyron, what is left in the market? People are spreading FUD, and whether it might be true or not, I think we'll get to the bottom of it today. But ultimately, these people are asking me, Kyron, your predictions sound a bit crazy to me. How can projects still 10x, 20x from here? It feels like there's only a few more multiples left to be made in these projects for the bull run. Well, I'm going to answer it. Not only will this hopefully allow you to make more money in crypto, but help you not get wrecked as well and have two, high ambitions, therefore leaving you holding your bags for the next cycle. Stay tuned. It's a very important video. First of all, as for having too high ambitions, that is definitely a very bad thing. You want to be realistic, but you don't also want to undershoot yourself so much so that you miss a lot of the gains that you possibly had on the table. So there's this nice duality between the two. Now, of course, being subscribed to this channel will allow you to make those judgments in real time, which actually is one of the questions I've received a little bit recently. How will we know when to sell and so on? We'll get to that very soon. And while you're down there hitting the subscribe button, because you're a nice person and because it'll make me very happy, you can hit the like button as well. Thank you very much. Now, let's begin. And I firstly want to begin here with having a look at some of these questions, okay? Some are more direct than others. But to be honest with you, I actually really think that these people mean well, right? Sorry, but your plan is never going to work. You're way too optimistic and unrealistic. Quite direct. But I think in terms of, people seeing these high price predictions and possibly falling for them, I think this person is coming from a very good place. Same with this guy named pretty much Invest Answers is a fraud. Definitely interesting name. You won't be making sweet FA buying HBAR and your multiples are delusional. Again, quite direct, but I think, again, it is warranted in this case. You keep talking about 5, 10, or 100x, but all we see is the price going down or sideways. In the last month, most altcoins have lost about 20% of their value. And lastly, what if you're wrong on your price predictions and it only goes halfway to your predicted price? This, I think, is exacerbated, and a lot of people are asking these questions right now, particularly because the market's moving sideways. Bitcoin's chopping between $60,000 and $63,000, which of course leaves more questions unanswered, I think, in my personal opinion, especially when you have people over on Twitter and making YouTube videos and scaring people as well. Now, this particular person here is calling for a much larger crash. Now, I'm not calling him out particularly because he actually might be correct. He correlates 2021's cycle and some of these key points that pop up with this cycle and how it's repeating and how we're probably going to see 50, 40, 30, $20,000 Bitcoin price targets possibly happen here. But look, whether they actually happen or not, or whether the cycle continues up and out of the blue, we pump, which is likely to happen to some degree here, you got to be prepared. You've got to weigh up the risks and the rewards with staying out or being in the market right now, which is what we will do in this video. But of course, first of all, I need to answer the question, is it too late for us to make any sort of life-changing, filthy, dirty, amazing, huge gains in this cycle? Well, again, we're going to pretty much answer that by answering those 4 questions. First of all, to answer the question of we've been moving sideways, we're down on altcoins about 20%, I want to say, if you're down on your altcoins, not just down in terms of the price is down on the week or on the month, but your particular entry levels is down, right? You're actually underwater on your positions, then that's obviously a bad thing. If you're questioning whether you should sell them, you should be looking at the general market itself, right? This over here, and making a judgment based on where we're heading, not your altcoin is heading, particularly at this point in time, because buying in altcoins, you should have some degree of conviction. When it's red, when it's down, if you have the money, you should be looking to buy. It's as plain and simple as that. Now, people are getting a little bit concerned because obviously right now we've been moving sideways for about 71 days since we hit the previous all-time high over here. But I think people are getting a little bit carried away with this. The difference between now and back here a few months ago, start of the year, when we were going sideways after initially pushing up from those October lows, is that now we're at all-time high levels. That's the only difference, okay? So people are at least feeling like we have more on the table to lose now, okay? We've hit those all-time highs. Maybe we don't go any higher than all-time highs. Maybe we go lower. It's typical crypto mindset, psychological manipulation. That's all it really is, guys. We may fall lower, At the end of this video, I will tell you what I believe are good risk and reward situations to do right now if you have money to invest, what you should do, non-financially of course, but plain and simple, if you have money to spend and you're looking to get entries, if you're down in your positions and you have conviction, dollar cost average. It's as simple as that. Other question there was, Kyron, what if your predictions don't come true? You have all these predictions for these coins. What happens if you fall short? Well, it's very important to set initial investment sell levels. If you set those levels, when we come up a little bit further from where we are right now, you'll be able to take back all the money you've put in the market. Therefore, you're running on pure profit. It's all house money. So, of course, that's very safe. And if only a few of the lower levels hit, at least you're making some profit. Now, it is very important, just like any trader will tell you, one day it could be bullish, the next day it could be bearish. That's why people hate watching traders on YouTube, because they can flip like a switch from day to day, depending on if the data invalidates or validates a particular setup. Just like that, to some degree, we are doing that. So I might call $2 or $3 for H-bar in the cycle in the next 6-12 months at some point in time. H-bar might look like it's only going to hit $1.50, so we can then pull ourselves back. Likewise, it might look like it can do more. Therefore, we can play around. Moral of the story, you really should just be trying to achieve your goal. You should be buying to achieve a set amount of multiples per coin and then getting out. You shouldn't try to buy or make as much money, because what happens when you do that is greed kicks in and you end up never really selling. You end up holding your bags to the next cycle. Don't listen to me. That's fine. Come back here in 12 months and tell me how you wish you listened. Now, again, just like we're seeing at all-time high levels right now, this is the previous all-time high you can see here. I mean, this is the exact same for every single cycle, ladies and gentlemen. We can see the last all-time high that was hit, we went sideways for 22 days, albeit a lot less time than what we're experiencing right now. But keep in mind, we hit the previous all-time high well and truly after the halving. Now, same thing happened back here in 2018. We moved sideways for 55 days, but in the current cycle, this blue line represents the previous halvings. All right, we hit the halving over here, right? Actually, matter of fact, we hit the halving about here. We hit it way before. We hit all-time high before the halving, okay? So that pretty much just means this time around, we have a lot more demand and interest in the market that allowed us to shoot up a lot faster and harder than in previous cycles, I believe, all thanks to the ETFs. The ETFs, people are like, oh, well, money's flowing into the ETFs. That's not going to mean direct money flowing into other altcoins. Therefore, these altcoins won't do as well. Bitcoin might do well, but alts won't. I believe that's wrong, and mainly because we're looking at general market exposure and interest. ETFs are ways that institutions can buy this, buy Bitcoin. Therefore, more people have confidence in Bitcoin because Bitcoin's price will go up, and they hear these institutions buying Bitcoin, and they buy Bitcoin not through the ETF, but rather through actual open ways via the market itself, and then by Ethereum and altcoins, and that follows. It's better we have the ETFs than no ETFs, and I believe hitting the all-time high before the halving and on the halving gives an indication that we're going to have a massive leg up very, very soon, which you can see on this chart here. This chart plots the last 4 years, the last cycle, onto the next 4 years as a rough idea of where we are right now and where we're about to go. And as you can see right now, I mean, again, 4 years ago to the day, we were moving sideways. Again, this might mean for a few more months, this might mean we push up. None of this is actually set in stone and accurate. But again, the idea here being that we are, in due time, going to go up, and it is completely normal to move sideways, and not just sideways, but down slightly. Altcoins might fall, again, so long as you can achieve your goals. Great entry levels. So that being said, what about this current point in time to where some of these altcoins can go? Because a lot of these altcoins, like I personally am predicting them to 20x, some of these to 10x, but mostly 10 to 20x, even from the current prices, apart from Solana and your XRPs and your Cardanos. A lot of these will do quite well. Again, probably 10xing or more. But it's like, how can they do that when, like, for example, Near Protocol is at a 7 billion market cap? Well, at the same point in time right now, in the last cycle, believe it or not, Cardano, again, at this point in time, was at a 4.5 billion market cap. And comparably back then to where we are now, that's pretty much the equivalent of a 10 billion market cap project because we have more money in the market this time around. Long story short, Cardano went from here, 4.5 billion market cap, way up here to 100 billion market cap. In the process, 30xing, just under a 30x, but nevertheless about a 29.5x. So it really, really pumped from this point in time. No one would have predicted that. Again, seeing where it went from down here to up here, you wouldn't have thought there was much in the tank. Same with Solana, bit different. It's a 100 mil market cap project back then, but it did over 100x, over 100x. Incredible stuff, okay? So I believe there is that extra fuel in the tank. Keep in mind, from this point to this point, the overall market only like 2.5x. So we can expect that to happen this time around. We're all predicting, a lot of experts are at least, from the current highs right now. Keep in mind, we aren't even at the 2.9 trillion global market cap. We're at about 2 trillion. We're expecting it to go to about 6 trillion or more. So there's a good 2, 3, maybe even more multiples left globally in the market. That's a lot of trillions of dollars to still flow into possible altcoins here. Keep in mind, though, I'm not trying to give you hopium. I'm not trying to say this is all guaranteed. Anything can happen. It is a market after all. But I wanted to take you through a couple examples here of some of these sort of statements that, some of these coins won't really do that well, and show you based on pure data and maths. This is taken from my price prediction sheet of 100 plus altcoins, built on data and their price predictions, of course, available in the private community. We can see some of the coins here: HBAR, ICP, Render, Nia, Mina, Manta, Pith, and Celestia. We've forecasted Q4 2025 supply increases, which allows us to work out the worst possible case price prediction. Why is it the worst possible case? Well, when you factor in as much of the supply as possible, again, like late 2025, the Bullrun will end a lot sooner than that, I do believe, then you're going to have price predictions that are a lot lower than what they actually likely will be, given a rough amount of demand is invested in the project, okay? So for example, with HBAR, it says that to reach $2 with all these tokens in supply in late 2025, they'll have to be about $100 billion of market cap of the project. Now, I don't want to get into the conversation about why that's a load of BS to begin with. Market cap is a load of nonsense, and I can talk about that a different day. I've spoken about that 3 times already, but all you need to know is that much more likely HBAR is going to hit $2 at give or take between a 50 to 70 billion market cap. Those extra billions are because we have more supply in circulation, and again, there won't be that many tokens in supply likely when HBAR hits those levels. Same with all of these coins. You can see here 21x expected from HBAR from the current price, 14x for ICP, and so on. At these market caps, again, these market caps are higher than what they'll actually be at these prices. This is worst case, okay? I've highlighted here Pith and Celestia. This is just to show you the negative impact a massive amount of supply will have on the actual multiples. This is why it's a fallacy. Again, it's a bit of a conversation to have in this case. All you need to know is that these projects are going to go much higher than these prices. Matter of fact, Celestia already has hit this price. So it's just to show you, of course, that we can probably expect an average of around a 10x or more for each of these coins, I believe, at worst. Non-financial advice, of course. Like I said before, currently where we are at the moment, equivalent to the last cycle was about 500 billion global crypto market cap. And we about pretty much almost a 5x from that point. I don't think we'll 5x this time, but given we're at $2 trillion, the multiples given from, I believe, a 2 to a 3x from this point in time, again, 4 to probably 6 or plus $trillion, we aren't talking about turning 500 billion into 3 trillion. We're talking about much more money this time thrown in the market. So the fact that projects like Cardano and others made many, many multiples from high billion market caps at this same point in time should tell you that a lot of these altcoins have room to grow. It's easy to look at a project like Render Protocol, for example, and say, hey, Render was at 43 cents 1.5, 2 years ago, but that was when it was like 40 million market cap. The amount of people buying at a 40 million market cap and the quantities bought was almost negligible compared to where most people are buying at anywhere between $3 to $10. So comparably, it can be easy to think, okay, well, they're just going to dump at these prices. But in reality, not many people bought back then. And if they have, trust me when I say greed in most cases will overcome these people and they'll see 100 or 1,000x. Most of the time, they don't sell. Now, we also need to consider risk and reward, because if you're looking at the market right now thinking, okay, this is all great, altcoins should go a little bit higher than where we are right now, considering nothing crazy happens in the macro world, right? What about risk and reward? Should I buy? Should I hold off for a possible deeper crash? What should I do? Well, we like to do risk and reward. We like to play things in our favor based on probability on this channel. And I can tell you right now, based on probability, if you're currently at a point where you're in an altcoin, like let's just use over here, Solana, for example, okay? If you're in Solana right now and you're only looking for a 2.5x or a 3.5x in this case, okay? We all know that Solana is likely going to probably cap out at $500. It could go a bit more, but there'll be a lot of sell pressure at $500. So in this case, you're probably not in the best place to 2.5x. What I would say is when you want to actually accumulate more of your altcoins right now, make sure you're buying altcoins at prices that will allow you to exit at levels far beneath the actual price target. For example, if Solana was actually going to hit, likely again, according to price predictions and analysis, $1,000, well, if you're looking for a 3.5x down here, that's reasonable because you have a lot more fuel in the tank. You're going to have most people wanting to sell Solana at around these levels. Therefore, you'll have a lot of buyers up here, meaning that you can obviously sell to those buyers. You don't want to be trying to fill your sell orders when everyone else is trying to sell. It pretty much isn't a liquid market at that point. It's horrible. You don't ever get your price intended, okay? So if, in this case, you were actually looking to make a 2.5x or a 3.5x rather on Solana, which would mean at this price you'd be hitting the threshold, you'd want to pretty much choose another coin or wait for Solana to fall down to a level in which you could buy to, again, sell at a point where you have plenty left in the tank. It's very, very simple, right? Now, in the case of looking for maybe a 10x, obviously, you probably can't achieve that with Solana. So you look to, again, some reliable price predictions. Find Mina. Hey, Mina's probably going to 20x or more. Again, we can't guarantee it, but it's, again, likely to happen based on what we know right now. Therefore, you can definitely buy in and get your 10x with plenty of room left in the tank. If prices fall lower and you begin buying now, and again, buying now obviously is a good thing for you, well, that's okay. Because you're dollar cost averaging, you're able to bring those levels lower. If you stay out of the market and just hope that we go lower on these altcoins, that, in my opinion, is far riskier because if we don't and it inverses and we begin going up, you're going to panic buy into altcoins at much higher prices. Therefore, you likely could be hitting the threshold for some of these coins, which is not ideal. Plus, also, if you don't do that, you might go ahead and buy an altcoin that's a lot lower market cap, panic, and it might not be an altcoin for you. Maybe it's actually a crap coin and you end up holding a coin you have no conviction in and end up selling too soon. So you can see here why it's very important to have a plan. And of course, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Alrighty. So guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. If you made it this far, look, we're pretty much friends at this point. You may as well hit the like button. Thank you all. Talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.